What role does faith play in these four turnings? Any role faith in God plays?
Huge. Huge.
Where is our faith the highest? Where is it the lowest?
It's not as simple as that. It's that our faith changes its quality as you move through.
Meaning?
Well, let me go back. You remember when I talked about the awakening?
Yeah.
So what's the big movement in the awakening? Not salvation by works, salvation by faith. This would have been the Reformation, all the big awakenings. Suddenly, let's cast off everything our fathers said. Let's cast off all these big institutions. Let's look into ourselves, right?
Wasn't Billy Graham's movement called the Great Awakening?
Oh, they all call themselves Great Awakening. You know, all of those movements. But by the way, he was, Billy Graham's, high tide was during the 70s and 80s. Huge resurgence of evangelicalism, by the way, during the awakening.
Yeah.
So this is when the mainstream churches, the Methodists and the Presbyterians and kind of mainstream Protestantism began to decline, and evangelicalism and all the charismatic, groups, the Pentecostals and everything began to rise. That came out of the awakening. So you see this movement toward interiority, toward individualism, toward looking inside yourself for validation. That's the direction religion always takes during the summer season, the awakening, the second turning. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So what happens in the fourth turning? That's when we begin to say that, well, faith, to actually do anything, it's got to have works. It's got to build something.
Yeah.
Something needs to win, right?
Yeah.
And so I think you get it now. Now, in many ways, younger Americans are turning more secular. They claim not to have any religious affiliation. I think what a lot of that is that they're turning away from that inner-driven boomer kind of stuff, and they're really looking to build community. The big challenge for religion in the next 20 years is how to build communities that work, communities that do exactly what you were talking about. You can raise kids to live decent lives, to believe in things that allow them to get along with other people, to keep their noses clean, and form communities, wholesome communities that work for the long term, and a renewed focus on the long term. Remember, when you believe that faith is inside you, you're not worried about the long term, right? The boomers' parents are worried about the long term. We're going to enter that era just coming up. Worried about the long term, worried about institutions, worried about works. That's the other side of faith.
In these uncertain times, if there's anything we need people to believe the future looks bright. So if you've heard about me saying this mission to you, we're on a mission to get 1 million people to wear this gear, and this is what we're doing. If you buy one of these hats, there's a category of buying one hat, getting the second one free. If you haven't yet worn this gear publicly, go ahead and test it out. Buy some of the gear, wear it in public, and see how many people will stop by and say, you also watch Valuetainment? You also follow PBD Podcast? I do too. Place your order. Go to vtmerch.com, click on the link above or below, place your order, and represent the VT and the PBD Podcast gear.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.